Flappers are called flappers because they flapped when they walked, as they wore overshoes or galoshes unfastened. Flappers are a generation of young Western women in the 1920s. The word flapper first appeared in Great Britain after World War I. Flapper was used to describe young girls, still somewhat awkward in movement, who had not yet entered womanhood. Let's take a glance of how the flapper look came to be. The flapper had their own unmistakable look. They wore short skirts, bobbed their hair, and flaunted disdain for what was considered acceptable behavior. The long locks of Victorian women lay on the floors as young women cut their hair shoulder length. They bobbed their hair and bound their chests and wore high heels. Many wondered if flappers were expressing themselves or acting like men. Not only did flappers have their own look, they created their own lifestyle. Smoking, drinking, and sexual experimentation were characteristics of the modern young women. Jazz music was a major part of being a flapper. The 1920s were known as the Jazz Age, and one of the most popular pastimes for flappers dancing. Many flappers held steady jobs in the changing American economy. Of course, they were not all work and no play. By night, flappers engaged in the active city life. Despite the potential political and social gains of losses, the flappers of the 1920s managed to have a good time. Like most good things, everything must come to an end. At the end of flapperhood in the 1920s, the stock market crashed and the world plunged into the Great Depression. Recklessness was forced to come to an end. However, much of the flappers' changes remained. But all is not lost. In the 1920s, flappers broke away from the Victorian image of womanhood. They dropped the corset, chopped their hair, dropped layers of clothing to increase ease of movement, wore makeup, and created the concept of dating. They created what many consider the new or modern women.